Welcome into On Texas Football. I'm Bobby Burton, joined by Gerry Hamilton. Time for offensive grades, sponsored by our friends over at Legion Digital Marketing, Chad Markham and his team. Gerry, I tell you what, the Longhorns offense, another first half explosion, kind of spit the bit a little bit in that third quarter. But again, the run game for the Longhorns, really the story of Saturday. 240 yards rushing. Trey Wisner, 33 attempts, 186 yards for the second week running. Young man out of Waco by way of DeSoto. Just a tremendous all-around performance by him, as well as the Texas running backs. Quinn Ewers, obviously, working through some ankle pain. They utilized Arch Manning. We got a lot to talk about on this Texas offense. On this edition of the Offensive Grades. Let's start with the quarterbacks. Quinn Ewers, Gerry, goes 17 of 28 for 218 yards, one touchdown, one interception. It was a costly interception, but it was a really good throw also to Jaden Blue. Had a number of other good throws, okay? But he wasn't necessarily as tight with the ball or as clean with the ball when it came crunch time in that third quarter. When Texas, all they had to do was run the clock, make some field goals, maybe not force anything. He wasn't necessarily really clean on that. But I tell you what, the second quarter, Gerry, I thought was maybe his best quarter of football against a good opponent, a good defense in a long time. It was really, really stellar. What'd you think?
Man, you want to talk about a tough grade to give a player. After he got his feet underneath him in that game early, I thought it was the best he's played since Michigan, and I thought it looked like Michigan Quinn, if that's what you wanted to call it. And then the third quarter happened, or the turnovers, and the interception was just
it was tough.
He started 30 games.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't excuse it. He started 30 games. I know players are going to make mistakes, but where you were, the down, the situation in the game, what was on the line, even if the ball's not tipped, it's probably picked for at least interception, maybe it's pick six anyways because it was late. It's a tough grade. I mean, I'm in between because for a quarter and a half, he played at an A level.
Oh, man, you talk about look, the very first time he got a chance to evade a rusher, he did it and picked up, 20 yards, 30 yards almost on a scramble. I was like, okay, Quinn's clearly, he maybe have an injury to his ankle, but he's good enough to run and get this ball away and that sort of stuff. Then I go back to one of maybe his best play of the night, other than the throw to Jaden Blue, which was outstanding, may have been the redirecting of Gunnar Helm in the flat after Quinn threatened the run and drew the linebacker in and then threw over the top of him. That was a gorgeous play by Quinn. I feel like he showed his experience at some times. I mean, look, the offense had one false start all night last night, Gerry. That's strong. Got good communication with his players. You saw him running the clock at the end. All those little things that you expect of a guy that has started 30 games, you got. He just had those two kind of really bad plays in the third quarter. I'll ask you this also. We got to talk a little bit about Arch Manning. He got added to the mix, had a big touchdown run that CJ Vogel on our Rapid Reactions mentioned. Very first play ever for Arch Manning in a away game is a touchdown run. He seems to score the football whenever he comes in a little bit one way or the other. That was an interesting wrinkle that Sark will now have for opponents coming up.
No, it really was. And Sark he'll bring the pass pretty soon out of that package. If he does, he will. I think he will. And maybe it's a roll to the right with a couple of levels, right? Where it kind of gives Arch a couple of levels there to throw it to or decide between. But I definitely think we'll see more of that because the reality is against Georgia a week from yesterday, Quinn's not going to be 100% by then. Maybe he gets to 100% by the playoff game, depending on where that playoff game. But he was wearing an air splint. I mean, that's not a healthy guy, and that doesn't look like a guy that's going to get healthy anytime soon. So I think Georgia will probably see some of that as well if Texas gets in the red zone. And it makes sense from a down and distance standpoint and where Texas is at within that red zone. But for the quarterbacks grade, I know I got to give him a grade, and I've been thinking about it. I mean, with Quinn, he did turn the ball over twice, and that's got to count for something. I think he played a football until the turnovers, but he did have 2 turnovers, so you got to go B-. And I think he threw the ball down the field at a higher level than that, but you did have 2 turnovers, and one was a pick six on a ball that you just can't throw in that situation, and you can't throw on the road, and you can't throw having made 30 starts in college football.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to give him a B+, and I understand what you're saying. I get it. I want to also mention this. I mean, I told you I talked to somebody close to him on Thursday and Friday of this past week, and what I saw out there was a guy that wanted to go out there and play with his team.
No doubt.
And really put a stamp on his legacy at Texas. He is going to be officially, Jerry, the quarterback that brought Texas back.
Yeah.
Other people, Sam Ehlinger, good quarterback for Texas overall, Longhorn through and through. He didn't take Texas to this level. Quinn Ewers is the one that did that. Congratulations, and my hat's off to him. Absolutely. He's got more ahead of him and can maybe really etch his name in stone if he is able to go out the next week and then the following weeks as Texas goes into the college football playoffs. All right, other positions, Jerry, that I want to mention. Running back, Trey Wisner, Jaden Blue, touchdown catch from Blue. Wisner, 33 totes, 50 carries in all for Texas, 50 rushes, 240 yards. Are you kidding me? No fumbles, by the way.
Yeah,
maybe a miscommunication on one blitz pickup. But this Texas running back room led by Trey Wisner, who is firmly the number 1 running back now. Just a tremendous night last night.
Unbelievable. And he brings a toughness to the offense.
I agree with you.
And look, you have speed. In Gunnar Helm is more of a pass catcher than a road grader blocking, right? He brings a toughness that you hit him. He does more so because he touches the ball more. DeAndre Moore and Trey Wisner bring, I think, a toughness to this offense. But Trey Wisner, you see, because he's the running back more, that they have to have. I mean, you can't just be fast. You can't just be skilled. You also have to have toughness. And it's taken a while for Texas to get to this point. But Trey Wisner is becoming, from a toughness standpoint and as a runner, what Texas thought Cedric Baxter was going to be going into the season. And they finally kind of got this where it is headed. They just had to go a different path to get there. And that's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now at the run game.
Look, they brought it up last night on the postgame show. It's going into the year. He was the 3rd running back. He wasn't even running back 2. That was Jaden Blue, right? And now we're looking at Trey Wisner as RB1. And frankly, he makes more people miss in tight spaces. He is different than Cedric Baxter. Baxter can lean on you, whereas Wisner's a little bit more patient and then darts, So at the same time, I think both of them have running back 1 qualities. We'll see next year, obviously, with Cedric Baxter. He was there on the sidelines, showed a couple of shots of him. He was rooting the guys on, so that's great. I don't see how – I'm going to give him an A.
I give him an A.
Yeah, I mean –
actually, I give him an A+ because Jaden Blue missed the blitz pickup for sure. But he had an unbelievable touchdown catch.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Running backs didn't have a fumble. So they combined to rush for 197 yards. Yeah. They caught a touchdown pass. Did they play perfect? No, they gave up a blitz pickup. But I will say this, they did a job to a A+ level on the road.
I completely agree. They kicked some butt, in my opinion, on the ground. Let's talk about the wide receivers. Mixed here. I tell you what, Isaiah Bond is not playing great right now.
No.
Matthew Golden is. I tell you that much. Ryan Wingo showed his explosiveness last night. And then you also had DeAndre Moore make a clutch catch as well. What did you think of the Texas wide receiver Saturday?
Matthew Golden is he is the Baron Sorrell of the offense. For me, he's like the most consistent player. He plays the most snaps outside the offensive line. He continues to make big plays for Texas. I mean, 3 receptions for 73 yards. Wingo had 2 big ones, 2 for 49. DeAndre Moore had 2 for 10. Isaiah Bond, 3 targets, no catches. One of those was he messed up on a route, considering the coverage and the leverage there. And the reaction of Sark and Quinn. I would say blocked well. You'd have to go back and watch to really actually grade those guys, but I thought they blocked well enough on the perimeter. So I'm going to give them a solid B in this game for what they were asked to do and how many targets they had. And it was more of a game where Texas was going to run the football. The tight ends was going to be a big part of the passing game. And so I think what they were asked to do, I thought they performed well.
I thought they did as well, Jerry. And look, it was not a big passing night for Quinn. Only 218 yards passing. So the play downfield, though, was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Matthew Golden's catch downfield, Ryan Wingo's long run. I'm good with a B, B minus. I thought that I was a little disappointed in Isaiah Bond overall. I thought that he did not have the best game that he's had. Let's hope he gets back on track against Georgia. Special thanks to our sponsor. Our sponsor for the offensive grades is Chad Markham and his crew at allegiantdigital.com /ontexasfootball. You can use that URL if you want to get up to a $2,500 discount in advertising with Allegiant Digital Marketing today. Chad Markham and his team have been working with folks for over 25 years. Chad's a UT grad and instructor of the Digital Marketing Boot Camp at UT Austin and has helped thousands of businesses overcome difficult challenges as it relates to marketing their business. Take advantage of their Hook 'em Horn special and save up to $2,500 in advertising. Visit allegiantdigital.com /ontexasfootball to learn more today. Hey, Jerry, we look at the tight end group, and you have to start with Gunnar Helm for sure. This continues to be that safety blanket for Quinn Ewers. Creative after the catch, gets open a little bit different maybe than some other tight ends have at Texas in the past, kind of finds his way into spots in a good way. What did you think of the tight ends? And we can't forget about Juan Davis and his blocking. Amari Niblack also played well on Saturday night.
Yeah, Amari Niblack had the one drop, so you got to ding the group as a whole there. But I think Juan Davis continues to be a plus in the blocking game from the tight end position, and Gunnar Helm's a plus from the receiver end at the tight end position. Not that Gunnar Helm's not an high effort blocker, because he is. But I'm going to give this group an A-, and Niblack just had a drop and keeps it from being a solid A.
Yeah, it wasn't even a drop. He didn't get his hands up in time.
Right.
It was kind of weird. It's almost like, hey, I haven't been down this far in a route in a long time. The ball's come to me. That's what it looked like. And so it is good that Texas is trying to work him into the rotation, though. So I agree with that. I thought Gunnar Helm, again, provided a good outlet. One of the better plays of the game I mentioned earlier was the Quinn Ewers pass where he directed Gunnar into open space. So just a good play by two guys that have been playing together for 3 years now, in my opinion. All right, let's go on to the offensive line. And I'm just going to cut to the chase. A+.
A+.
Yeah. One false start all game. Lost your All-American left tackle in either first or second quarter. Rushed the ball 50 times on the night. Controlled the clock 34 minutes. 26 first downs. A 94-yard drive. An 80-yard drive. I mean, just every time you looked up, Texas was making a hole. Texas was giving Quinn Ewers enough time to throw. My hat's off to every member of the Texas offensive line, from Trevor Gooseby to Hayden Connor, Jake Majors, DJ Campbell, Cole Hudson, as well as Cam Williams. Texas really, really doing it right up front on Saturday against A&M. As Mike Elko, the A&M coach, said, they whipped us.
I was going to say Mike Elko graded Texas an A+ too.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
I was looking through this, Bobby, and the sack came by Torian York, so linebacker blitz, right? Tackles for loss. I mean, Shamar Stewart had 1, but I mean, Regis, Stewart, Turner, they're going to have some tackles in this game because Texas ran it 50 times, but DJ Hicks had a couple of tackles as well. But the Texas offensive line, Nick Scorton had 6 tackles. I don't remember any of them, though, So, but the Texas offensive line, Mike Elko said it in the press conference, they dominated the game. They annihilated us. I mean, that's an A+ performance. Cam Williams got beat on 1 sack where he was mad after the play, but there was a penalty by A&M that negated it. But A&M had 1 sack, and it was Torian York, a linebacker. So none of the vaunted D-line had a sack at all in this game. That's an A+ performance. You rush for 250. You have 458 yards of offense. It was 2 turnovers in the red zone. Nothing the offensive line did. That was just 2 turnovers in the red zone. But you had 458 yards at Texas A&M, and you rushed for 240, and you only gave up 1 sack. You dominated the game from start to finish, and like you said, you lost Kelvin Banks and Trevor Gooseby, I should say. Trevor Gooseby looks like a guy that's got a chance to play for money one day.
He does, doesn't he? Absolutely. Great performance by Trevor. Way to step in. Your first real action, game time action outside of, I think he played 1 snap when Banks came out one time or earlier this year, but he was ready. And hats off to Kyle Flood and his group there. They certainly are doing really well this year and have been leaned on, particularly these last 3 weeks, in my opinion. Not only at Arkansas, but also last week against Kentucky, and then again yesterday against Texas A&M. That's good stuff for that Texas offensive line. All right, offensive grades overall, Jerry. This could be a little bit
it's tough.
A little tough because you look at the scoreboard and they control the clock, but man, you got to put points on the board. Now, some of that is some of that are turnovers, no doubt about it. Some of it's a missed field goal as well. What do you give this Texas grade? Because you want to look up the scoreboard and see more than 17 points, don't you?
Yeah, you do. But so if I just read you this, what would your grade be? 26 first downs, 13 rushing, 9 passing, 240 yards rushing at 4.8 a pop, 17 pass completions for 218, 458 total yards, 78 plays run in regulation for 5.9 yards, 7 of 15 on third downs. 101 on fourth downs, 3 of 5 in the red zone, and those were 2 turnovers. You'd give them an A+, but they had the 2 turnovers. So you got to go B+ because you didn't put the points. This game, without the turnovers, Bobby, this is a 30-point win at A&M in the first time you played in 13 years.
I cannot agree more. I mean, I was thinking Brian Robeson last night and Rod Babers saying this could have been 31-0.
Yeah.
Really, really easily. Had Texas not turned the ball over and the block punt.
Yeah.
But that's obviously special teams. But look, Texas continues to move the ball on offense a lot. Yeah. It could be because of the run game finally getting on track. It could be because they're mixing in the play action and teams now have to respect it with Trey Wisner running the ball. But whatever the case may be, Jerry, the Texas offense is getting some rhythm at the right time of the year. I know this sounds crazy with just 17 points on the board, but I felt like they were in rhythm all night long, except for the very first series of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, how many 3-and-outs did they have? The first series. That's it.
Yeah.
That is a strong performance against a defensive head coach who has a lot of NFL guys on that.
Yes.
That is a strong performance. I'm fine with a B because of the points and ultimately it's a points game. But, Sark had the guys ready. Quinn stepped up, played strong, in my opinion. And then you had Trey Weiser in the offensive line that just played like horses all night long. Just really, really strong.
And let's also point this out. Texas ran 78 plays to A&M's 57. And you know what that did? It crushed the A&M crowd.
Oh,
when
yeah.
You're running for 2 yards, 3 yards, 6 yards, 7 yards, that crowd's not going to be as effective. They took the crowd out of the game, dominating the line of scrimmage on the offensive line.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I'm going to ask you one more question, but first I want to say thank you again to Chad Markham, the co-founder or the founder and CEO of Allegiant Digital Marketing, a UT grad and instructor of the Digital Marketing Boot Camp at UT Austin. Chad has helped thousands of businesses overcome the challenges you might face marketing your business. Take advantage of Chad and his team's Hook 'em Horns special and save up to $2,500 in advertising. Visit allegiantdigital.com/ontexasfootball to learn more today. All right. Overall, a dominating performance for the Texas offense, except on the scoreboard. Still, the Longhorns win 17-7, and they did salt away the clock almost the entire third quarter. Texas held the ball. All right, that's going to do it for the offensive grades. We'll be back a little bit later with the defense. Jerry, thank you so much. Matthew Hutchison, our producer, thank you as well. For Gerry Hamilton, I'm Bobby Burton. Hook 'em.